After the fall of Krakoa, Captain Kate Pryde was changed forever. Now she's headed home to try and deal with the fallout, but when her mutant life comes calling once again, she too will need to rise from the ashes. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Exceptional X-Men issue number 1 and find out together, shall we? So that as we join this brand new series, courtesy of Evaluing, we're in Chicago, the home of one Kate Pryde. It seems that when the shit hit the fan in Krakoa and the X-Men all ended up going their separate ways, Kate, like most of us, ended up going back home. Kate admits that she went through more change than just about everyone else during the Krakoa era, and really, it's true. She was a captain of the Marauders. She was a Red Queen in the Hellfire Trading Company. And when Orchis tried to exterminate all of mutant kind, Kate went down a much darker path. She became the Shadow Cat once again and, well, kinda killed a lot of people. And honestly, all of those deaths are weighing really hard on her conscience right now. She admits that she became a person she didn't like, gave into despair and anger. And now it seems as a reaction, she's trying to turn her back on her old mutant life and start anew as a bartender. And geez, if you think fighting for your life against Sentinels is hard, try fighting against bottomless brunch mimosas. Hey, I read Anthony Bourdain's book, I watch the Food Network, I know that everyone hates the brunch service. Kate admits that being a bartender does indeed have its fringe benefits. Mainly, you can fade into the background and become invisible, something that has never been too hard for a woman who can literally walk through anything. The big problem, though, is that because the bartender is often invisible, it means she is way too regularly forced to hear people drunkenly debate mutant status as humans. Oh, I think they're dangerous. I mean, if just a few could wipe us all out, then we have to do something about them, right? Oh, I'm not worried about the big leader mutants. The government is already watching them. No, I'm worried about the regular everyday mutants who could be sitting next to us right now. Oh, sure. The ones on my daughter's soccer team seem nice and everything, but can you really trust them? No, they're just so different from us. In her more vulnerable, more depressed moments too, Kitty has to sit and reflect on just how far her and the rest of mutant society has fallen since the golden days of Krakoa. It wasn't so long ago Magneto declared them the new gods of Earth, and now Kitty is crashing on her childhood friend Preeti's couch, doing everything she can to distract herself from having to think about the existential nightmare that is being forced to reintegrate with the rest of society as a mutant. That is, of course, if she even really wants to be a mutant anymore, but hey, we'll get back to that later. It seems that Kitty actually has managed to line herself up a date, something she hasn't done in a very, very long time. She also kept this important concert date secret from her friend and roommate because she didn't want to turn it into a whole thing, and honestly, that was probably for the best because Kitty actually gets stood up. Wow, again, she was a pirate queen ninja not that long ago, and now she's got to take a very depressing walk home. However, it's on her way back, Kate actually ends up falling into a crowd of colorfully dressed young people. Kate decides to follow because, hey, it's not like she has anything else going on in her life right now, and eventually we discover that this is some sort of BTS-style Korean pop concert. Which, in a very hilarious character moment, Kitty admits, yeah, you know what, I am actually too old for this. Maybe I should just go home and admit defeat. However, just as our hero is turning to leave, one of those oh-so-classic comic book twists of fate ends up entering the picture as the bouncer ends up getting a little too rough with one of the young ladies, who, in a moment that Kate admits she has seen way too many times to count, her mutant powers end up activating under all the stress. This character's name we learn later on is Trista Marshall, and her mutant ability is the act of metal mimicry. Basically, her entire body turns bronze, which is also her mutant codename, and she ends up becoming a lot stronger and more durable. Once she fights back against the bouncer, this whole situation ends up escalating completely out of control as guns are drawn. This means that Kitty is actively forced to get back into the swing of things as a hero, using her phase-shifting ability to rescue Trista and make sure that her and the other concert goers don't end up getting shot in the crossfire. Naturally, Trista is freaking the hell out right now. Not only will she not be able to see the concert she's been waiting on forever, but now she has just so happened to dip her foot into the wild and wacky world of mutantdom. And honestly, this character kind of endears herself to me right away just by how poorly she takes it. I don't want to be a mutant. I don't know if I can be a mutant. I don't even know any mutants. Like, as comic book fans, we all dream of the day that we would get amazing mutant powers and what it would mean for us. I just dig that this girl doesn't like it at all and has just a very human response to it all. Kitty being Kitty, Kitty, of course, she's able to calm her down after saving her life and even promises to take her back home. And isn't it fun to see Kitty, who was so often painted as the young up-and-coming mutant being mentored by the likes of Wolverine, now the tables have completely turned and she's actually the mature one doing the mentoring to the next generation. We also get a chance to meet Trista's grandmother in this issue too, and their exchange is actually quite interesting because the grandmother seems to be well aware that something bad happened to Trista while she was out, but she would have no idea that her mutant powers activated, though she says something that really stuck with me, and that is, "I see all those things they say about your kind of people. Terrible." Which, I don't know about you guys, but this exchange leads me to believe that there's actually way more going on with Trista than just her being a mutant, and we'll probably get a chance to learn all about it if we continue reading the series. Meeting Trista, helping out, and getting to be a hero again actually seemed to be everything that Kitty was missing too. Trista was even nice enough to send her one of those big colorful K-pop gift boxes, meaning that when Kate goes to work at the bar, she's actually happy for a change, having made a real difference, and gotten back in touch with the sort of person that she used to be, the sort of person that she wants to keep being. So yeah, pretty happy ending, right? Everything's looking up. Well, about that, you see, it's from there we transition on over to Emma Frost, who you'll recall by the end of the Krakoan era was basically one of the most powerful and influential mutants ever. What's she actually been doing for the last several months? You know, just living the dream, hanging out in expensive hotels, day drinking, and using her psychic powers to eavesdrop on her close friends and allies, if only to try and find something to break her legendary boredom. And once she ends up catching some thoughts from Kate, she decides, hey, you know what, maybe we should hang out again. I know you just maybe tried to start getting your life back on track, well, it's time for the White Queen to throw everything out of whack. And so that was Exceptional X-Men issue number 1, everybody, and I gotta say, this book ended up being a really pleasant surprise. I didn't know what to expect going into this one, but Eve Al Ewing really managed to give me a story that I walked away quite enjoying. Like I mentioned before, Kitty Pryde ended up having probably one of the best arcs of the entire Krakoan era, so it's nice to see her pick up that ball and run with it. I mentioned before in my other X-Men videos that one of the best things about the Krakoan era and what we seem to be seeing here again in the From Ashes era is this real buffet approach to X-Men stories. By which, of course, I mean there's something for every taste in just about every genre, and here in this book they really do manage to flip the script on a traditional X-Men book by actually giving us something much closer to Chris Claremont's original New Mutants concept, by which, of course, I mean actual brand new mutant characters, teen angst, interpersonal relationships. And I think if this series can keep to those ideals moving forward, then I think it's really going to end up finding its audience out there. Overall, I think I feel comfortable giving this one another very solid 8 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.